So that every time we are live, you'll be notified immediately. Now, I want to say shout out to everyone, and I'm really sorry. I'll tell you what, I hate using a camera, but I'm forced to do so because I don't like the wires and all this stuff. I want quicker stuff so that I'm good to go. Okay, so come through, please. Let's have a conversation. You have seen the headline, Ziyambi dares Mutsvagwa. Okay. Of all the people, Ziyambi has the nerve to dare Mutsvagwa. Now, VP Chiwenga again, his brother, actually the cousin, Chiwenga said that he is not presidential material because there are just speculation that he may have ambitions to be the president of Zimbabwe. So he said, please, Zimbabweans, don't make a mistake, but actually think that he has the qualities to lead you. He won't be able to do so. And that's his cousin brother. Again, going down to family feud. We all know, right? We all know what happens with family. And once again, I want to send my apologies to everyone else. Please come through. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. But unfortunately, what happens is that, I'm not a lover of a camera because I have to put all the wires. I want quick things, so I'm good to go. And then, but sometimes my gimbal will always let me down. If something shifts, it automatically falls, so I want to apologize. All right, so we're going to move on, please. Right, we have heard earlier on, we spoke about Chamisa and what he said. He said Zimbabwe shall soon be the land of free, happy, peaceful, proud, and prosperous. Which I say amen to that, okay? Because you know what I believe in. Don't forget, guys, to like the live so that we push algorithm and invite everyone to come through. We're going to have this conversation thoroughly. Definitely we have to do so. Again, 224 Forex traders nabbed and 90 bank accounts shut. So people are saying there's no Forex in the banks. People have to trade in Forex in some of the, like buying fuel. So if then the banks do not have Forex, we can't buy Forex from the black market. How are we then going to trade? These are the questions that people are raising. But I hope we're going to have answers one day. We pray we're going to have the answers. Okay. But I also told you that hardliners from ZANU-PF are also really criticizing the whole arrangement of Forex and, people being arrested for selling, money on the black market. But at the same time, the government is trying by all means to make sure that at least they curb corruption. Let's see where it's going. We are all watching and we are following it very closely. This is quite sad, honestly. What I'm going to let you guys hear now is very sad. That, do you know they're building houses now to accommodate SADC, delegates that are coming for this summit. So I'm going to read the message that was sent out this evening that President Emmerson Mnangagwa recently visited the construction site where presidential villas are being built to accommodate SADC heads of state during the upcoming SADC summit in August. During his visit, he also conducted an aerial assessment of the roadworks leading to Mount Habden, where the summit will be held. President Mnangagwa expressed confidence that the construction works would be completed within the target timeframe. He emphasized the importance of Zimbabwe hosting a top-notch event, highlighting that work is being carried out non-stop to ensure a successful summit. As the country prepares for the summit, SADC summit, President Mnangagwa's attention to detail and commitment to hosting a high-quality event are commendable. With the completion of the presidential villas and roadworks, Zimbabwe will be well prepared to welcome SADC leaders and demonstrate its capacity to host significant international events. So they are building houses to accommodate SADC delegates. They are building houses to accommodate SADC delegation. That's quite interesting. Do you also know allegations that were actually being dropped yesterday that the newly opened Mikus, it's not new, it's Mikus that now is a new name which they're saying that it belongs to an investor. The allegations are, these are allegations that were dropped by Neva Masona say yesterday on Twitter that hotel belongs to President Emmerson Mnangagwa, his wife and his kids. But they simply use proxies to buy that hotel and then revamped it, but it's their own business. Like I said, these are allegations dropped by Neva Masora. I don't know how true that is, but people began to talk about it yesterday on social media. Yeah. Very good question that were asked by Fazema here to Nick Mangwana. Said, does it make sense to build brand new luxury villas for SADC news leaders while the country faces its worst hunger crisis in over 3 decades? If 1 in 2 Zimbabweans is food insecure, are we not worse than nations at war? Should feeding the population not be top priority over the needless flexi with money we don't have? Can they not stay at the Hajj? Because there's a hotel. They could stay there, the hotel, these delegates. Why are we supposed to build new houses for them? I also don't understand why. But you know what? I know why, right? I know why. Remember, Mikus is going to expose a little bit of some of the inconsistencies that are in town. They're going to move around and see the kind of poverty that is there. But imagine if they stay closer to Parliament, right? They just literally leave their own homes and be attending to the summit, and they can drive them around into all these luxury spaces so they don't see the poverty that is in the country. The level of deception that's going down in Zimbabwe is unheard of. It's unheard of. Deception. People can actually sell you a lie and you believe. How many times you have heard, be it Mutuli Ngcuve, I also remember Mutsvagwa as well, promising journalists from South Africa and said, come to Zimbabwe. We are going to show you how beautiful our country is and how rich we are. There's no poverty in Zimbabwe. They would deny, right? And you also remember last time that they had to hire some South African celebrities to lie that there was going to be a free and fair election and showcase Zimbabwe and how beautiful it is. Can we talk about the poverty and how the people that are hungry, they don't want, so they're actually going to block that to be known by simply building new houses for the delegates. Have you ever heard something like that? We have a lot of hotels. I know there's also Crystal Hotel. There's a lot. Jameson Hotel is there as well. So the newly one, beautiful hotel. Why can't they sleep there? But no. Who am I to ask the question, which was the same question that people are asking. Why do you have to spend money on building new houses when we can feed the poor? But again, they have all the answers. Also, Hope Watching on said, you are building villas, yet the country hasn't had a single working radiotherapy cancer treatment machine over 3 years. Why don't your government have compassion for the thousands dying every year due to the lack of this machine? You are building villas, yet the biggest hospital only has 1 maternity theater built in 1977 by Ian Smith. Why don't you have shame? 2.5 women are dying while giving birth. 2,000 women are dying every year from cervical cancer. But you are spending money on building houses for delegates. You also know today they were actually inspecting Parnanyatwa as well, which they confirmed that Parnanyatwa clocks 2 years with broken cancer machines as well. Touring MPs reprimand hospital management for lack of innovation as patients suffer. But I remember last time I read that there were almost, how many doctors, fake doctors that were operating at Parnanyatwa? Fake doctors, that can show you. Where they put their effort is where they know that there's going to be money that needs to be looted. Be it roads. Some people are saying, why did you fix Julius Nyerere? Because the road was okay. But they know that that's where they can loot, right? Where they think of looting is they just need to say there's something that needs to be done and pretend like there's work that has to start, and then they can loot the money. You had one kilometer of road that should be costing $1 million to fix. They will charge 3 million, and the 2 million goes to politicians or individuals who may be in procurement that the president confirmed that they actually build beautiful houses. Most people that are in procurement, what is that supposed to tell you? Corruption is their daily bread. They're corrupt individuals. Now moving on, family feud and family life is an interesting one because honestly, people don't really know how important it is to be a good leader at home, right? I want to say this, and I want this to be on record. And I want you to know what I'm saying here. You will one day remember my words. That as much as people think Chamisa may be young, but the leadership of Chamisa will restore marriages in Zimbabwe. I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you my reasons why. Because he has stood the test of time, being a man of one woman and a man who has a family that people know. I mean, I'm saying this respectfully. If you check how families are broken in Zimbabwe, it says a lot about what's going on in the country right now. And the reason why I'm saying so is because I want you to listen to Apostle Chiwenga. And what he said about VP Chiwenga, these are not my words, because these are cousins. They are real brothers. They know each other. They were raised, in the same family. He said he is not a presidential candidate. You must never put him as a leader. But his reasons, again, I want you to listen to him speaking. He was very clear that because he failed in a family life, how can he come in and be a leader? And let me say this. It's a principle I've always been saying to most people who have been listening to me, that if you genuinely want to change the world, you first have to go back home and love your family. There is no man that can lead a people without being successful in family. You won't make it. Because family life is where you have to be checked if you are an authentic or if you are able to lead people. If you fail in family, unfortunately, you won't make it. Even in any area, be it business, you won't make it. Because women are always going to be your downfall. Unfortunately, women will always be your downfall. So I will want you to listen to Apostle Chiwenga. He said a lot of things. He said a lot. Unfortunately, he said, that guy, we miss, you talk to too much, yes. But sometimes he's right. I don't agree with him on everything, but here he's 150% right. I want you to take a listen, to him, please. Powerful submissions right there. Take a listen.
So those who are supposed to tell him, no, you shouldn't say this, they are the ones who are required to clap hands for him. One of the admired African authors, which I admire very much myself, I have read almost all of his literary works, Chinua Achebe, said, worshipping a dictator is such a pain in the neck. It is not just a matter of standing on your head. With practice, anyone would learn to do that. The problem with a dictator is that you do not know from one moment to the next, from one day to the next, just what is up and what is down. You may rewind this video later if you have not understood me, but I'm very lucid in what I've said. Right. Zimbabwe will not be better in the administration of Mr. Chiwenga if he becomes president. If God allows it to happen, it's a nemesis, it's an ominous season for the people of Zimbabwe because of just what I have said now. The man does not understand that a nation is a family and the president is a father.
Yes.
When you look at the people, they are not your enemies. Yes. They are not frogs that you must kick out of the way. They are the very water that you as a fish cannot swim without. He doesn't know that. The concept of family is that which he lacks. And this is why there is no one, not even one person in the Chiwenga family who has seen the relevance of having someone with the opportunities that are in his hands. Number one is a commander of the defense forces. Number two is a vice president. He is the only vice president in the history of Zimbabwe whose ascension to power has been of zero consequence or zero significance to his own tribesmen, to his own people. Not even a single one. A few weeks ago, he donated a lot of money to a high school in Bulawayo because that's where he married recently. But in the very rural schools where his very brothers and sons and cousins and nieces and nephews in the Wedza area where he comes from, He has not built even a toilet. There's no toilet at St. Augustine's Chitida Primary and Secondary School. There's no hospital, there's no clinic there, there's no classroom, there's no toilet at different schools in Weza, where I learned myself, because I know everything that I'm talking about. So when we have a leader who doesn't love his own relatives, and you look at yourself and you say, he will love the whole country. It's a disaster.
Yes.
There is not a single man from the Chiwenga family who even rose to the rank of a captain in the army until today. Not even one. Not even one. Now, those who talk about leadership, the Socrates, the Plutos, the Aristotles, even the Sun Tzus, the Chairman Maos, they say the qualities of a leader, a great leader, is someone who can produce better people than himself as he rises to power. People that will walk away from you, you can point and say, that one was worse, but look at him, he is doing things better than I did myself. You raise, you nurture, you groom people. You love to see those that you love getting better. So this is the problem that is going to affect his ascension. And this is why I said I have a message to him. If he is going to be something better than what he has become now, he must actually go back to his own family and do some corrections and improve the lives of his brothers and sisters. Be relevant to your own relatives. That's what they do. Look at Mr. Mnangagwa. His very son is now a cabinet minister. His very son. How many people are in government from the Mnangagwa family? How many people are in government from the Mugabe family? I'm not advocating for a tribalization of governance, which is also an extreme. You don't have to be in government to benefit from the influence of your relative. But you can send children to school and they can start to stand on their own. You understand? Yes. Then they become independent. They don't need you to help them with money. And they can send their own families to school. Their children are fine. But you played a role in their grooming. Yes. Mr. Mugabe had the same situation. Go to Uganda right now. Mr. Museveni has got, a few months ago, he had to force his son to resign from the special ops in the defense forces, which he was heading. General Uwozi, yes, the son of Yoweri Museveni. Of course, if someone is excelling, what should stop him from taking responsibilities? He can't be stopped simply because he is close to the president. Donald Trump's daughter was in office holder in the White House. Together, I'm talking about Ivanka Trump and Eric, his other son, and his son-in-law. They were competent and they were involved in government. Yeah. So when you are the only person from your tribe who has held such senior positions in governance for more than 30 years, you were not able to influence one person from your family to be something meaningful. Something is wrong with you. Yes. That detachment from family is dangerous for a national leader. Yeah. You need a leader who has the concept of a family in his mind, in his heart, so that when you come as people from the locations, he sees you as a human being who also has his own family. So he values your rights. He accords you the respect that you deserve. My question is, how do you expect a man who doesn't care about his own family to be the father of the whole nation? That's my question. Now, I'm refraining a lot from talking about the whole Chiwenga family, which I know very well.
First and foremost, I want to ask you a question. Where is this coming from? Where is this whole thing of saying Chiwenga wants to be a president coming from? Where is it coming from? Like, I find it this very weird. That this is why I said the sense of entitlement in ZANU-PF is shocking. Where is this coming from? Like, when we look at the way Zimbabwe is, we still want to force people to just be in positions where no one wants them there. I mean, who voted there? Who said they want a VP to be there as a president? We know the term is finishing now for President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and there's going to be an election, isn't it? Or whatever that's going to be happening. But I'm saying, how did we come to this conclusion that is going to be the president of Zimbabwe? Is it another drama that happened like 2017? No, we don't want that. We definitely not want that. Because, I mean, how can we build a country by simply people can say, I want to be there, and then they can be at the front? No, people have to choose their leader. So let's start right there. Although I've heard those speculations that he has ambitions to be the president, but I guess now the brother is the one that is speaking. Talking about their family setup, that he is not taking care of their family. How can he be the leader of Zimbabweans? You've seen those videos are circulating, But it's also a lesson to all of us, and that people don't realize that there's always going to be tomorrow. I've been saying to some of my friends, I said, your behavior right now, because you may look at where we are as Zimbabweans, not knowing that in the next 2, 5, 10 years, things will change. And then you start looking back and see how you've been living your life. And you ask yourself a lot of questions. Was that worth it? It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. Because you have so much ahead of you. The ZANU-PF, they're too comfortable to think that they're still going to be holding that place forever. No, it's not going to happen. Zimbabweans are ready to fight to the thick and thin to make sure that they rescue this country. People are ready. They're just quiet, but I know people are ready to stand firm and say no. No one should violate the constitution, and no one has monopoly to Zimbabwe. Nobody has title deeds to Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF do not have them. They are just taking advantage of saying, oh, we have the army, we have the police, all manner of things. But I think the police and the army also are fed up of them. That's for a fact. Everyone is fed up. So maybe we need to start by talking, by addressing the issue of, him being the president, because I don't know how he's going to get there. That's point number one. The family life issue, very sad indeed. If what he's alleging is correct, of that the family don't have nothing, and it's sad to hear. Actually, it's heartbreaking. But we also know there are people like that in our own Zimbabwean context. It's always about me and my husband and my children. As long as we're good, everyone is good. But hey, we need each other. Life changes anytime, any minute. So we must take care of one another. It's sad and embarrassing at the same time. Honestly, I feel embarrassed for him to hear this.
I know very well, because I'm a member of that family, and you can't say I'm talking nonsense. Remember, last time he tried to claim that he doesn't know me. I dared him to say it again, and I can prove that he knows me very, very well. We used to talk, remember, on the phone. We used to meet, remember, at his home. You can't say he doesn't know me. But my point as a man of God is that the position that he holds with the disconnection between him and his own family is dangerous for the nation of Zimbabwe. You can't be known for buying coffins only when your relatives have died. What is your interest in buying coffins? What did you get from buying coffins? When your sister dies, you buy an expensive coffin. Your brother dies, you buy an expensive coffin. What are you interested in? Imagine people investing in your death, but when you are alive, they don't care about you. That's not normal. In Africa, when a son is successful in life, he enjoys to bring his family to celebrate his success together with him. When you see someone's success and he doesn't want to involve his family in that success, that is suspicious. Either that success is not straightforward, or there is an ulterior motive, which I spoke about last time, and I said, when you have a relative who has money, who can influence his relatives, but he refuses to do that, don't force him. Some people's money came from rituals, and Sangomas will tell you, don't share your success with your relatives, it will disappear. You can give it to strangers, but not to your own people. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
There is no classroom that was built by him in his local area where his relatives go to school. He goes to build a school to his new father-in-law in Blawayo there. What is it with such a leader? $20,000 ekuvaka classroom ku high school in Blawayo. Kumsha kwake kuwedza kuna kana chibhorani chaakacheresa. What is wrong with him? So my utterance to him right now is that he should correct this. Otherwise, there will be no legacy for him. The state of his affairs right now are that he is going into a collision course with the history of Zimbabwe. He didn't listen when we talked about it and said it was a mistake for him to take the vice president's or a position. Watch the space. If we are alive, we will see. We show you. It was a mistake.
Yes.
And we said it was a mistake again,
yes,
to take the Minister of Health office because he was not qualified to hold that office. We thank God the new cabinet did not include him as a Minister of Health. And you can see the state of our hospitals. What is the result of having an incompetent Minister of Health? The state of Paranyatwa is evidence that he failed dismally.
yes,
The Constitution of Zimbabwe says, and the Health Act, the Minister of Health must be a qualified medical doctor. He is not a qualified medical doctor. I'm not speaking nonsense. It was a mistake.
yes,
But who could say no to him? That's the point now. No one could say no to him. And this is why after telling the people, I will maim you, even his boss can't correct him. We don't talk like that. We don't threaten people with violence. It's not right.
yes.
So I am not decampaigning him, I'm advising him. Whoever is advising him to his self-hate. A proper leader requires people who are not afraid of you,
Yes.
to confront you and say, this is wrong. That's a proper leader in government. So my last words are that the only chance that he has of making something out of his legacy is that he walks away from this authoritarianism of his and become humble as a public leader. He may get a chance to be the president of Zimbabwe.
Oh, nice.
Among other things, he must reconnect with his family, be relevant to the people of his tribe, the Chiwenga people. You can't be well known for donating cars to Catholic priests, donating classroom blocks to your father-in-law's town, donating expensive and buying expensive cars to brothers-in-law. When your own brothers can't find a proper meal, it's embarrassing. Kuita mbiri yekutengera vana tsano maland cruiser manyowani hanzvadzi dzevakadzi. Mukoma wako achifamba netsoka muruzevha asina chekufambisa.
Sure.
That's not a leader. Tozviziva kuti vakadzi kana vavaroora vanogona kupinda mumusoro asi haufanira kupindwa mumusoro saizvozvo.
This is quite funny, but you know, I had to pause right there because this is a very important subject to deal with. Okay, that's what I told you. I'm going to come with the relationship part. Okay, I've never been married, but I think I'm mature enough to talk about relationships. You know, I may not get into the nitty-gritties about marriage, but I can teach about relationships. Let me tell you, this is my advice to you as a man. Okay, hear this from me. If in your house, the only people that come into your house are your wife's family, you must know for sure that woman is not a good person. She's blocking your family to be in the house. Because there are women who are very wise in a way that what they do is that they pretend like they love your family when you're there. But when you're not there, they treat them so badly. I talk what I know. I talk about what I know. For those that have got children as well, when you've got kids and you marry someone with, when you don't have kids, check in with your kids all the time. Because there are women, not all the women, but there are women who pretend when you're there, like they love your children. But the moment you get out of the house, those kids are being abused for nothing. Some, they don't even get food, but they're afraid. Because you know why? They're afraid because every time you come home, they see you hugging, laughing with your wife, and they're afraid that they're in between. We love our father, but we don't know what to say because it seems like our father don't love us. Because now you can see he's talking to the person who's abusing us. Does that make sense to you? So you need to really be wise as a man or a woman. A man, I want to be with men. Women are not my problem because I know how they operate. Most of them, actually. It's always about their family that matters. And every family member of yours that comes in is a bad person, except with their family. That's a red flag. Because the danger is there will come a time where that phase passes. Maybe one day something will happen and you'll be left on your own. And your family members are like, we're not going to come to your house because of the way you were treating us. Beware and be warned. What he's saying here is very powerful. It's a strong thing. It's shocking what we are hearing here. I'm shocked. But how can I be shocked? How can I even be shocked? I mean, would you not see what happened with Mary Chiwenga? How can we all be shocked as Zimbabweans? Lest we forget what happened with Mary Chiwenga. But you know what makes me happy is that a lot of things are coming out, in a very interesting way, because it's the end of these people. The truth will come out in totality, and most of them will go down as the most, I would like to say, there's a word that I'm looking for, but there is no way that they would sow such kind of evil over the years and hate the Zimbabwean people. Some kids were left as orphans without parents today because of evil. And then everything just going to slide. There's no way. They have to pay. They have their own, people are going to pay it heavily. You see what's going to happen in the... Something's going to give you. So, yeah, it's sad. Wow, that's a lot. Your brother don't have no shoes, but you're buying cars for individuals on the street, or your wife's. Men, please hear me out. I know my cars are not Rita. Trust me, I know. Your mother is bad. Your family members are bad, except her own families are good people. They're the one that can gallivant and do as if they own the house. Bear in mind, you're the one that is working, so your family should benefit more because you work, right? Not her family. As a matter of fact, the Bible says when you marry, you leave your mother and father, right? Yes. And you cleave to your husband. So who's supposed to benefit more? The wife's family or the husband's family? Because she have left her mom's house, isn't it? And go to marry here. So the real family is here, is where she's married to. Not her family. Because they're supposed to be married somewhere, right? Or married somewhere or be married somewhere. I'm just trying to paint a picture so you can understand. Because it's all about manipulation. I don't know their circumstance, but I'm just telling you as a woman to say, just be careful. Watch. It's a red flag. She's abusing them. She's the one chasing them. You heard me. It's a woman. It's a woman that is chasing them. I can tell you. I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's sad, honestly. But with this story, I'm not even surprised. If I can just think about Mary Mbayo, I'm sorry. At least every Zimbabwean saw it. It's not like every Zimbabwean is a witness of what happened.
These are the leadership qualities I was talking to you about. He needs to be a leader. A leader loves the people. The problem with the people is that you can't love the nation when you don't love your own kith and kin from your own family. You can't.
Yes.
It's just simple.
Yes.
I am in the church right now as Apostle Chiwenga. All the members of our church, they are my children. I can't be careful, I can't love them, I can't protect them if I don't take care of my own children, my own family. I do the least that I can afford to do. Those who are close to me, they know that. Unofanira kuita relevant kuhama dzako. Mwari akakuisa mufamily for that purpose. Kana usingadi hama dzako, nyika kuru. Unongochidi nyika if you don't even love your own blood, your own relatives. Why would you need to love the whole nation? Right now, Mberengwa people are excited. Zhishavani people are happy because the scale of power is tilted towards them. Every rat and every cat from the Mnangagwa family is driving a new car. Every mouse has got some gold money in their pockets. Where the money is coming from may be a different issue. We shouldn't take the money that is supposed to be building the country and put it into your own family. But the point is, at least they remember their own people. They remember their own people. It is scary when you see a leader who has risen to that level and you go into his office, you don't see anyone that comes from his family. It is scary. If you don't love your own relatives, how can we expect you to love those that you have no relationship with? It's a contract. Govern me and I will be governed by you. How can we expect him to govern the nation? To be the father of the nation? Look at him now. He's telling the people, that's what he's good at. Imagine kuti baba vachisvika mubamba mumande vachibva kubasaka vachinzi namai mauya dedi mirirai ikoko mwendokuremadza. Aishi ndakuremadza vana venyu futi, saka mukaremadza vana nhai vachiwenga muchatungamirani. Mari yemadiamonds yakabiwa vamugabe vakazvitaura, hakuna akambozvipikisa. Masoja anga ariko kwachiyadzwa, varipo masoja vari involved pakubiwa kwemari havasati varemadzwa nanhasi. Vema$10 emustreet ava ndovamuda kuremadza, kuri kwachiyadzwa muchavaremadza rini? Munovaremadza rini? Vakatora 15 billion emadiamonds. Vanenyi ritarushwaya vakabatwa negold vakaconvictwa ne competent court of law, muchavaremadza rini vana henyu ritarushwaya? Kuve drugs scandal muchavaremadza rini? Kuvana Priska Mupfumira muchavaremadza rini? Vana Ignatius Chombo vakaenda kukoti kasingaperi nenyaya dzecorruption dzeland muHarare, hakuna akamboti ndichavaremadza kana one. Ndakuremadza mamoney changer ekuGlenview nevekuEpworth vamuda kuremadza. That's not a father now. You are a wicked leader if all you can do is to threaten the people. That is not acceptable. And the church should not be quiet. Because vanhu vakaremadzwa isu vafundisi tenge tisisina kuparidzira. Uyai kuchechi kuti takaremadzwa naChiwenga, imi makavanzwa vachiti vada kutiremadza mukaramba makanyarara.
But you have seen how I've been very adamant when it comes to the church. I am extremely I can't disappointed with the church. Can I tell you, there's no reason for me to go to church if I'm in Zimbabwe. I'll tell you where. I don't want Mwari when you to know abuse one evanu. I don't want him. Let me explain to you. If you are telling me that God is so powerful, right? If you're telling me that every knee shall bow. If you're telling me that these people, they're consulting somewhere and their God is not stronger, so you can't tell me that you should be abused the way we are right now in the country and you don't take a step. You don't do something. And you're a pastor in the church. Then I don't want your God. I don't want him. You know what I was expecting? Across Zimbabwe, pastors to stand and say, you're going to kill us. We need to fix this country. Or let's call our God and you call yours. Let's see who's going to answer by fire. That was what I was waiting for. But unfortunately, it's a different story. It's like everything's okay. People are even manipulating the church to believe in a lie. Pastors are being used to capture the mind of Christians to believe in lies. They're being told, no, Canaan is around the corner. But there's some people who are keeping them at ransom in poverty. And they know on the other side, they are looting everything. They come back with a small little change. They tell you, oh, Canaan is coming, deceiving you. But you're calling them, they're from the world. And you are saying, God is on your side. And then I don't want your God. You know why? Because the God that I know wouldn't allow such nonsense like that. That God will stand and fight. So I agree with him. I'm disappointed with the church. And I repeat, I am disappointed with the church. The way things are in the country can show you that the church has failed dismally in Zimbabwe. Dismally. Because if people were renewed mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, they're very much aware of who God is. I'm talking about every church. We include all these fake prophets that are busy masquerading as men of God. If people were really genuinely, and I'm saying genuinely, understand the gospel and the power that comes with the gospel, we wouldn't be where we are today in the country. We would not be. Because everyone would stand and say, hey, no. So I am disappointed with the church. I saw some of the church leaders attended the inauguration, but they saw how the sham election was. They saw it, but they still went and attended the inauguration. Now you begin to ask yourself questions. Where are your principles? Where are your values? What do you stand for? You turn around in the church, you're saying you're preaching truth, right? You're teaching people to live right, to respect the laws and rules. But no, it only works when it suits you, not when it suits everybody else. You know the reason why people are in poverty, but you're going to tell them to pray. No, it's not every challenge that requires prayer. Some challenges only require action. Do the right thing. It's sad. So I agree with him. I'm disappointed with the church. Honestly, I am disappointed with the church. And I can't really wait for people to know the truth about God. For them to know the power they carry. But it's like everyone now they've subjected themselves to the leadership of the devil. Because every evil that's going on in the country, all these are machinations of the wicked. So then if we are not subjecting ourselves under the same wicked, and then we're still saying we love God, we still say, oh, God is powerful. How can he be powerful? How can he? If we can put him on test and say, hold on, we are here on this place here, we're not coming down until you answer. We're not going to come down. You answer. I can tell you answer. Where are the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego of our time? Where are the Esthers of our time? Where are the Daniels? Because let me tell you what's going to happen. God will hold the mouth of lions. Because some of you are saying, no, I'm afraid. No, he will hold the mouth of lions. Where are they? So I am disappointed with the church. I agree with him. I am.
Now it's surprising that when it's campaign time, these very wicked politicians, they go to churches to campaign. Mr. Chiwenga was seen at Marange Apostolic Church. We saw him in Methodist Church. We saw him at Mwaja's church. We saw him at Makandiwa's church. Yes. This very man who is threatening people with violence, they applauded him and said, he is a general of power excellence. Is this excellent leadership when a vice president threatens people with disability? Vanamakandiwa tiye munhu wamaipembedza uyo ari kutaura kuda kuremadza vanhu ndo zvakaita munhu akaropafadzwa naMwari rezvi. Is this what a leader who is coming from God should do. Vatungamiriri vanobva kuna Mwari. Ndo zvakaita mutungamiriri akabva kuna Mwari here izvi. Izvezvi zvandatotaura izvi. Kunotori nevachafuma vaida kundiremadza mangwana kuseni. Vachida kupruvha kuti havaremadze vanhu ka. Vanoda kuzoremadza ini. Akakutaura kuti tinoita violence ndiani. Tinoda kukurova. Tikuratidza kuti hatina violence. Hatisi vanhu veviolence. We are peaceful people. So this is what I wanted to say, believers. Mr. Chiwenga is not fit to be a president. He must go back to his family and start to learn to be a family man, loving his own tribesmen, take care of his own family, and learn to be a civil servant. He is no longer a military officer anymore. It's said that we have such a development and it should be condemned. And this video clip was played here for the sake of condemning it. We condemn it with all the contempt that it deserves. It's criminal. It's an act of violence. It's a violation also of the law. If we had human rights organizations in the country, they should have criticized the vice president for making these reckless statements. So this is what I wanted to say. If you are a military officer, when you are sent to harm the people by politicians like this, you should refuse. It's better for you to lose your job. God will find a way to sustain your family. But you can't say boss to a person like this, who speaks to the very people that he promised in an oath to protect. Now he's threatening to disable them. It's uncalled for. Mr. Chiwenga, in his personal capacity, has no capacity to maim anyone. He's a sick man. But Chiwenga zvavakaita paipe vari one havana kana munhu wano vanoremadza. Vangangoremadzana vanhu vane ma50 60 ikoko. Vakomana paZimeximo vakaona naChiwenga vari vega. Vanopukutwa zvavasati vamboona. He is a weak man, he's too old, he can't fight anyone. He is trusting to use the army. Young people in the army and young people in the security services. Those are the people he is going to use to maim the people. And we have to speak like this so that some of those young people in the army, after listening to me like this, will realize that we shouldn't listen to these old leaders whose idea of governance centers on violence. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. Okay, believers, I have spoken unashamed.
Yeah, powerful submissions, very, very powerful and really emotional at the same time. This is why I said the entire system of Zimbabwe in terms of leadership has to be dismantled. So many things are wrong. So that's why I don't think government, we call it government of national unity works. It won't work in a Zimbabwean context because everything's broken. It's the way people think. It's always about violence. You know, even small little things, you can go, pisa Zimbabwe. I mean, who does that? Again, it shows you how broken our systems are. And people laugh at it and clap. You can stand and say, oh, this person, afaga Tonganyika in 2024. In 2024, when other countries can say, you saw what happened in Senegal, 2 of them were leaders, part of the political party. The actual person who was supposed to be the president gave the mantle to someone else when he was blocked to contest. He said, okay, you can go ahead. That's leadership. It's not about you. It's like Chamisa wake up tomorrow and say to Ostalos, you can run, or Fadzemairo, you can run. That's leadership. But there's this spirit, it's me. Guys, we need to do away with that. That is definitely not going to take us in anywhere. If we want to change the Zimbabwean situation, we're going to have to prefer others. You know what I mean? Like what do you do when you're moving with a woman? You said you go first. But I've seen men who are women first. Right? Yes. But because our culture is so toxic that we can't evolve. We keep being the same people for decades. Imagine 40 something years, the same people who cannot change their mentality, who don't understand the power of preferring someone else. You know, imagine right now, Mr. President Emerson Mnangagwa can say, guys, I've done my part. I'm done with my term. You know, I've made it clear to you. Now let's have a free and fair election. And he passed the baton amicably. Let me tell you, he's going to be respected by Zimbabweans. So much. Because he did right. But no, there must be fights. For what? 2030. Oh, hold on. 2030, but you just took this whole thing last year. People are looking out to see, what are you guys doing? No, you already think about that 2030. It's all about power. It's the mentality that needs to change in this country. Mentality. Now, what's so disappointing at the same time is that young people are buying into it. Young people are buying into it. Making the matters worse, it's you as a young person, you actually believe that people that are in their 80s can actually be able to change your life. And you can even clap your hands and say, no, doing what? Again, boils down to who we are as a people. There's something wrong with our mentality. That's why when I go test, I say, "That's serious. They're serious." But something's going to give. Something's definitely going to give. By the way, we must look out for each other. Make sure we take care of one another. And again, the laws have changed. Actually, no, the Judicial Service Commission has sent out requirements for marriage for those that want to register their marriages. I think they're talking to me, I guess, because I'm more of the senior single person. You reach 41, you're single in a Zimbabwean context, it's like, they call your names like, they don't understand that, no, there's more to life than just getting married. There's purpose, you know what I mean? So yeah, they're saying now requirements for marriage registration. Now you can apply. They need almost applicable statutory fee for revenue stamp. It's currently pegged at $1,000. So is it the ZIG? Maybe it's the ZIG dollars. I don't know. Your IDs, passport size, were applicable. A lot of things there. You guys can check that out. Where we are at the family level, please love your family. Please, I want you to know that. What I always say to my family, that you don't know what God is doing, right? There are some of the people in your family that you are actually undermining or you're mistreating because you're thinking where you are now with your wife and your children, you're good. What you don't realize is the very same people you are undermining will take care of your children tomorrow. Don't be too comfortable. Life it's like a wheel. It changes, turns. The people you are looking down upon will be the same people that maybe will be next to your deathbed when you're dying, taking care of you. But I guess we get too comfortable. Oh, I've got my job, I've got my money and my wife, we're good. No, anything can happen. Anything can happen, especially when you mistreat others. Chiwenga is right by confronting this one. Unfortunately, truth has to come out. A lot happened around VP Chiwenga. And for the cousin to come out and say that openly so that Zimbabweans can hear, it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. But that's why it's so important to always make sure that you are in touch with your family, especially when God blesses you. Sit down around and have dinner, coffee. And I know some people may argue and say, but I know some of my families are very talkative or they're not good people. But you need to use wisdom. Wisdom is profitable to direct. You need to use wisdom. Your duty and your goal is to love people. But you don't worry about the rest. You just there to love them. So inviting them to your house to come and eat dinner, sit down with them and eat. Don't talk much about a lot of people. Just entertain people. You do your part. That's it. You put the rules in this house. Nobody talks about another person. You talk about yourself. So that everyone who comes here is much aware that you don't cross lines. Because that if they talk about someone who's not there, they can go back and change stories because you've commented something. You don't. No, you don't talk about someone. You talk about yourself in this house. But family is everything. Don't let people fool you. Say, no, they're not important. No, they are important. I know some families are extremely toxic. But you also bear in mind there's a lot of things. There are so many reasons why people are who they are. especially with the political climate in our country, it has ruined a lot of things. And I really want to ask you to pray for men. Pray for men. If there ever be anything that we can pray for in Zimbabwe, men. I do not know what happened in Zimbabwe that hijacked the brains of men. But something happened. Something spiritual happened. There's a spiritual transaction that happened that really is messing up men. What I'm seeing out there, guys, I'll tell you, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Zimbabwean men, majority of them are no longer the same. You know why? Because they are being subjugated, abused by other men, and the ego is messing them up. So we really need to come together and begin to pray for men. I'm going to be specific, men. There's also an issue of immorality that has taken over our country. Prostitution. Again, after the men. Men, and I'm telling you facts, things that are happening now. I started talking to someone during the day, and the person said to me, when he left South Africa, he was going to Zimbabwe just to go in there and do some stuff. He was told by his family and said, please, don't touch women in this country. Don't touch women here. Because of poverty. And the mishonga is ruining men's mental health and families. Please, I'm begging you. And I'm telling you things that will help you. Some of you are going to ruin your entire generation by simply following useless people on the streets. Pray for men. By all means, pray for your fathers, your uncles, your brothers, your cousins. Every day. What we are seeing on social media today, as far as men are concerned, is heartbreaking. It is the worst that I've never seen in my entire life. What I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm witnessing, even in my life as a single girl, meeting men out there, my heart breaks. Sometimes I come home and I'm crying. And there's a list of men I'm praying for. Because I meet them and I see that they are mentally deranged. They have no clue of what they're doing. They are messed up. It boils down to our political climate. It's Zimbabwe that ruined everything. That's why I so believe Chamisa should be the leader of that country. And let me make this clear. Any leader that we must look for out in the next Zimbabwe must have one woman. I'm saying it respectfully. Because you know what? Check what happened with Solomon when he began to go after women. Everything went wild. All right? Very important. Something that you must never take for granted. It's a principle. If Chamisa becomes the president of Zimbabwe, I'm just telling you, when he becomes, not if, when he becomes the president, you see how God is going to restore marriages and families. Because men will begin to see that there are advantages of having a good woman in their lives. Because it's not, today, everything is a mess. One woman can grace the entire cabinet. You saw it. What do you expect in a nation like that? So many things are wrong. That needs to be fixed. It's not normal for one woman to be with almost every person in the cabinet. That's satanic and demonic. It's wickedness. There's nothing fancy about it. It's not English. Nothing fancy. Whenever I hear people talk about English, I'm like, what are you talking about? Or money, what are you talking about? I've been with people with money. I know what I'm talking about. But very humble. Look at Strive Masiwa. Top class. So you can't tell me it's English when a man is busy with almost everything that breathes on the streets. It's satanic. They need to be delivered. There's nothing fancy about it. But our culture thinks that it's English. There's nothing English about it. It's nonsense. You need deliverance. We are living in very dark times, my brothers and sisters. The devil is roaring like a lion. Things are going to change in Zimbabwe. And some of the people that we're living right will see their last chance. God is going to bless them. And you are busy following useless people that you won't even remember their names tomorrow. Useless women who don't even have a direction. Here's the thing that I'm going to tell you, the danger. And one of the reasons why I'm very passionate. In fact, my goal was very much clear on the youth. My heart is more with the young people and the youth people, the young. Each and every person you meet in your life, if you decide to have intimacy with them, hear this out from me. Some people come from families where they have a demon of poverty. The moment you have intercourse with that person, there's an exchange of spirits. You're collecting a demon of poverty from that person. There are men who are very successful. But the moment they began to go after strange women on the streets, everything went wild. Ask yourself why. Because you exchanged your success with poverty. Some come from the family where nothing works. And you took that back to your family where things were working. Your wife was fine, your kids were fine. Some took sickness. And when I say sickness, I don't even mean STIs, but satanic, demonic sicknesses. Back to their homes. Kids are just sick. Or the wife is sick. You are the one who left your home and went outside to go and take nonsense. Some women as well went out of their marriages to go and collect satanic spirits from the streets and breed them to destroy themselves. There is an exchange of spirits whenever you sleep with someone. An exchange, there's a transaction. It's not just, no, we're just having, there's nothing called we're just having fun. There's an exchange of spirits. That's why when two people get married, even if someone came from a family where things were not working, because of their intimate, things change. There is a transaction that happens with every person that you're meeting on the street. Don't let people fool you. There's nothing fancy about sleeping around. It's not English. It's not, oh, there's a shimanje manje. No, there's no shimanje manje. There's no shimanje manje. It's satanic. I pray that God just give us leaders, people who have respect for themselves, because marriages have to be restored. And I'll bet you remember my words and say that God said it one day. Marriages are going to be, all these men that you are seeing roaming around the streets, they want to get married. But here's the kicker. And I'm going to say this to women. If you're spending your life today not working to become a better woman, you'll be on your own. No one wants you. Women are so many in Zimbabwe than men. So if you are spending your time following everything that is useless on the street, you'll be on your own. Because good women are going to come back top class. And you have been wasted by almost every man on the streets. People know your name. Your resume will count. I can tell you facts. It will count. Your resume. Your track record. Some of you, your videos are on the street. You're exchanging nonsense with people. Stop that. It's stupid. Your pictures, your videos. Pornography with people on the street. You're crazy. Don't do that. They'll follow you tomorrow. They'll follow you. I can only imagine. Yeah, me, I've got a name to protect y'all. God knows my heart. No man out there, dead or alive, can say they've got any picture from me when I'm naked. No one. No one. I've said to God, not in my lifetime. I won't do that. You know why? I've got a name to protect. I've got a destiny and a future to protect. I can only imagine running a successful business. Someone has the nerve to use that against me. Because people do it. You'll see it. So, but Zimbabwe. They'll use that against you. Be wise. Be sober. Be vigilant. You have a future and a destiny to protect. We're going to move on. Guys, the reason why I'm moving into this story, because I really think it's about time we put this story to rest once and for all. So Job Scala was in Geneva, right? Yeah, giving an incredible, very emotional speech. But the reactions that came out on social media were very disappointing. I'll tell you, very disappointing. I think before I even listen to the things that he said, I want to talk about how do Zimbabweans, we can easily forget about important stuff. Do you know that? Do you know there are so many people that used to be in the opposition? Someone need to remind me that. So many who used to be in the opposition. And let me tell you why people end up giving up. It's how we react to them. That's why hear me out, guys. I'm not affiliated with any politician. And I do not want to do that. I want to love every Zimbabwean the same, because if things go wrong, I'm going to blame it on people. I'm not going to blame it on you. What I'm doing here, nobody sends me. God did. So if things go wrong, I'm going to go back to him and say, you send me. Come, rescue me. Nobody owes me nothing. So the danger of politics is that when people are at the forefront, they're doing it for the people. So when the moment things go wrong, they feel like people need to protect them. And the moment we fail to do so, they're upset. I don't know if that makes sense. We mustn't forget that there were so many sacrifices that were made. Each and every generation, be it an election, we had people that were sacrificing their lives. Some of them end up even giving up because we will keep on bashing them, because we're thinking, oh, they did not betray. I can only imagine people who went to prison like Job Scala. Guys, being in prison for something that you never did is the worst that can happen to a human being mentally. So instead of us extending grace and loving them and be able to say we need to be patient with them, we are quick to, and I get that, we're quick to bash. And then people find them so sad, you know what, I'm going to have to stay away from these people, or I'm going to give up on anything. We are quick to bash, but I also know that there's a number of people who have been unleashed to kind of pretending of masquerading as opposition and bastardizing those that are at the forefront, and then things fall apart. But the fact remains, we must always remember that the sacrifices of people matter than those that are fighting us. So instead of us now bastardizing Job Scala, get this right, we must understand that these people have been through the most. Guys, prison, when you are innocent. I told you about my story, right? And that story, one day I'll tell you in detail to understand how deep it was. When I knew I was very much innocent, it messes you up. You question a lot of things. But at the end of the day, what matters is it's your journey. It's your sacrifice. God will give you grace. He'll find you there and He'll help you to move on. But I'm just asking you to never bash, but rather extending grace and say, we understand, we're going to pray for you, we believe in you. We understand. Because guys, the abuse that has been going on in Zimbabwe, just imagine, even those that has never been imprisoned are completely tattered. Just imagine those that have been in prison for what you have never done, when you have never done wrong. Guys, listen, it's the highest level of torture. So don't think that when he's talking the way that he's talking, it's emotions, it's mental breakdown. That's why I'm like, God, God knows what's going to happen in Zimbabwe after we remove ZANU-PF and their systems that are wicked and evil. And I'm just saying, they're going to go eventually. The people that are doing, my psychologists, my monks, therapy, they're going to make big monies in Zimbabwe. You know why? Because majority of people have to go on therapy. They have to go for therapy. Because the pain that Zimbabweans have been through, they cannot restart without therapy. And I was just asking and said, I wish there can be meditation. I wish there can be monks who can come to Zimbabwe to help people with meditation, to rewire their brains, because people have been tortured. ZANU-PF honestly knows how I think and how I feel about them. And I'm very open on it. I love my brothers, but I still calling their system satanic, demonic, diabolical, disgusting, evil, pathetic, any name you want to call. That's the systems that are currently in place. And it's very spiritual. That's why it's important for us to understand how to deal with it. Let's not bastardize. Let's help each other. Let's believe in one another. Let us be patient with one another. Let's also be grateful for the sacrifice that were made, notwithstanding the outcome. Because I'm a firm believer that each and every person has something positive to offer. But if I spend my time, focusing on the wrong, then I'm not doing anything. Because, guys, all of you here, you are listening, there are almost 250 people here. If you guys were not here, I wouldn't be talking to myself. But I can't be saying you're not important. No, you are very important. That's why I don't want anybody who comes here with negativity, because that is going to overshadow those that are here for sure to listen to important things. So I'm very much protective to the people that are important. All I'm just telling you guys is that you must remember, Kuti, people have been through the most. Let's have grace. Let's extend grace towards each other. We need one another. Always. So yeah, Job Scala's speech, very emotional speech. But I guess people were more focusing on how he was speaking. And they were saying, no, but the voice was, I'm not worried about the voice. I was more worried about what he said. Very, very painful, speech. Take a listen, please.
I want to greet you, honorable guests of this important summit for human rights and democracy from all the four corners of the world. I am Job Scala, the surviving political prisoner from Zimbabwe. I'm a prominent lawyer and was an opposition member of parliament before my incarceration since the 14th of June, 2022. On June 14, 2022, I was arrested for representing a single mother, Mo Blessing Ali, who was an opposition political activist who was brutally murdered. They cut her body into 3 pieces and dumped it into a deep well. By the time we finally found her, she was decomposed. And for taking on a family's legal case, I endured 595 days of pre-trial incarceration at the notorious Shikurubi maximum security prison. It is disheartening to disclose said moments of traumatic experiences one has walked through in life, as it gives persecutors the satisfaction of their evil deeds. I'm just one among thousands of Zimbabweans who have become victims of persecution in my country. My arrest was nothing more than political persecution. In my political career spanning more than 3 decades, I have been arrested 68 times by the authorities in Zimbabwe. In nearly all those cases, I was always found innocent. But on the 14th of June 2022, when I was 49 years old, with a wife and 11 children at home, yes, 11 children, I was arrested and thrown into prison. This time around, they refused to release me on bail. It was the only way Zimbabwe's corrupt regime would steal the 2023 general elections, which they stopped me from contesting. For 595 days, the state held me in pre-trial incarceration. They had yet to convict me for any crime, and still they kept me caged in solitary confinement, day and night, always in chains. I was denied food and visits from relatives, colleagues, and friends, access to reading material, and prayers from a religious leader of my own choice. As a lawyer, I know my rights. I know how corrupt and cruel Zimbabwe's regime can be. Still, I was shocked. I had to seek multiple court orders to assert my rights. When I became sick with severe diarrhea and vomiting, they denied me a medical doctor of my own choice. When I got sick the second time around and passing half blood, they kept me chained to a hospital bed for the entirety of my treatment, despite being on a sleeping dose. The regime made me face 5 trials. They blackmailed my initial legal team, led by Beatrice Mtetwa, to stop them from representing me. They threatened my lawyer, Arson Gomo, by pointing a gun to his forehead In the end, the state denied me legal representation on the commencement of my trial. When my lawyers, Ziyambi and Harrison were attending other cases in superior courts, and the court proceeded with my trial. Endless postponements to just keep me in caged solitary confinement was the order of the day. They procured 2 convictions, one from the law that does not even exist. They insulted my character, labeling me an unrepentant and incongruent criminal. And bail rulings pronounced me guilty before the beginning of the trial. Innocent until proven guilty does not apply to anyone who stands up against Mnangagwa's corrupt regime. While I was in prison, they destroyed my legal practice. I found my office looted and my furniture scattered in different locations. Mnangagwa's government systematically destroyed me politically, economically, and socially. I came out and found everything ruined. And they did not stop there. More Blessing Alice's family refused to bury a body until my release from prison. We are all extremely emotional when that day arrived. But they unleashed a drunken mob of disruptors on a burial to sing obscenities against me and disrupted the funeral. And no one was arrested up to date. Imagine that your beloved daughter and mother have been brutally murdered and cut into pieces, and you can't even hold a private and respectful funeral to bury it. My family also became the victim of persecution. My beloved wife, Ellen, was unjustly arrested for a spurious road traffic offense. They convicted her and confiscated her driver's license to prevent her from bringing me food in the prison. Her driver's license was confiscated by the state and has not yet been retained up to present. And it's not only just my family. Everyone associated with me has been persecuted. 6 University of Zimbabwe students, Emmanuel Stima, Darlington Chiwenga, Comfort Mpu, Benjamin Watadza, Kamshrai Chaburukunda, and Lionel Madamombe were arrested for demanding my release. They were denied bail, missed their university exams, and were denied to contest the University of Zimbabwe students' leadership elections. Once more, I want to thank those brave students, my wife, my children, and everyone in Zimbabwe, and from around the world who stood with me during that difficult period. My persecution reflects the suffering of countless Zimbabweans. Many have endured torture, brutality, arrests, disappearances, death for resisting our oppressors. Millions have fled persecution and embarked on an exodus into diaspora. There is nowhere in the world where you will not find a Zimbabwean. So many desperately want to come home to live in a free and democratic society. But that time has not yet come. Pastor Tefma was abducted and found dead. The state procured a fake conviction against Jacob Garufme and he spent 10 months in prison. In fact, my persecution marked the closure of the democratic space in Zimbabwe. Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Mdenda, and members of the ruling ZANU-PF party have obliterated our multi-party democracy. They've pushed opposition members of parliament out of parliament and banned their activities. In July 2023, they passed the Patriotic Bill, a new repressive legislation curtailing freedom of speech and association. According to Mnangagwa's corrupt regime, I am committing a crime just by standing here and talking to you today and giving the testimony of what they did to me. I could be arrested again when I return home for the facts and lies and truth that I'm telling you here. They plan to pass the private voluntary organization bill this year, which would give the registrar unchecked authority to block pro-democracy and human rights organizations. They target the Zimbabwe lawyers for human rights and like-minded organizations who protect the vulnerable in society. The regime has systematically destroyed the rights to education and the right to demonstrate and petition. As I speak, 16 teachers from the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union, including their president, Robert Masaraure, face criminal charges for exercising their legitimate, peaceful and constitutional right to petition the government. These teachers who make a mere $250 per month, as all other civil servants, just wanted an increased wage. Now they are being accused of promoting public violence, bigotry, and the breaches of peace. Tertiary education is reserved for the children of the privileged, the elites, who have looted our country of every resource. Skyrocketing tuition fees have led numerous students to drop out. They find themselves on the streets, educated but unemployed, succumbing to drug addiction and facing the grim prospects of incarceration. For nearly 2 years, I shared my pain with many young men and women who had been accused of taking drugs and were left to rot in prison. Our young people cannot imagine a better future. To make matters worse, Southern Africa now faces one of the worst droughts in modern history because of climate change. Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique, and Malawi are all in desperate need of aid. In the past, Zimbabwe's regime used to distribute foreign aid along party lines, rewarding their supporters with food and starving the opposition. We pray that our citizens won't face the same fate this time around. I urge the world to provide food aid to Zimbabwe. We will vigilantly watch for any discrimination in the distribution of food relief based on political affiliation. Silence in the face of unjustified persecution is acquiescence to evil. Just as the world united against apartheid South Africa, today we must stand together against the harassment, false imprisonment, torture, and the murder of all innocent human rights advocates, no matter where they live. That's why I'm here today. That's why we launched the National Democratic Working Group in Zimbabwe. We are a coalition of progressive forces. I serve as its chairman and facilitator. And our goal is to engage Zimbabweans in this national governance crisis. Together, I am confident that we will pave the way for a free and democratic Zimbabwe. I hope you will support us. Let me reassure you that Zimbabwe shall be free. May the Almighty God bless all of you. I thank you.
Okay. So the speech was an incredible speech, but I think social media was ablaze because they felt like the way he was talking. But this is what I say to you. You cannot expect normalcy from Zimbabwe. I can tell you facts. It's not possible. My heart bleeds. That's why I'm saying, okay, I just can't wait for us to live in a normal country again, where people can be able to speak properly and talk to each other in love. You know what I mean? Where a person doesn't have to be crucified for their truth, where we can differ even in our own views, but still respect each other. Do you understand? I can't wait for that no more nation anymore, where we don't have to lie on social media just to push a narrative for someone, where we don't have to have thuggery behavior in our country, where people have to be silenced for speaking their truth, where the youth can't even voice up. Young people are being dragged into drug addiction. I'm waiting for that country. My heart bleeds and I pray that happens in my lifetime. Anyway, soon. My heart bleeds every time. It's yeah, it hurts, shame. It really does hurt when you think about that there are solutions, like there are solutions to just sit around the table, talk, and just be one people and love each other. But Zimbabwe is different. I wish I could sit down with the people, it's in the ZANU-PF leadership, and understand how they think. Well, what is really their main problem? What keeps them holding on to, like, what makes them being so evil towards each other? Just like being evil towards your brother. What can make you put someone in prison and then you acquit them after how many years? How many days? Like 2 years in prison. And then you still acquit them. To me, it's like, how do you even go, how do they sleep at night? I don't understand. Oh, okay, let me not worry about them. Their wives. Their wives. That's why yesterday I was not saying to Monica, come on, you know what has been happening in the country. You knew it. We're the forefront to support Rwang. Just to be able to have, I don't think my husband will be able to do that, when I marry one. Or even my family knows. No, you don't. You don't mistreat other people. Not under my watch. You don't do it. Not under my watch. Because guys, at the end, we are one people. We are all going to be in heaven. The next 100 years, everybody here, we'll be all in heaven. Under the same roof. We belong to the same Father. Why do we even hate each other? Why do we even think that there's any need to be evil towards someone else? What is it that driving us? Why is it we can show our children love? So what is it that we can show to the another child love as well? I'm not a firm believer of this person is not our family. I don't believe in that. All of you are my family. All of you. I can stand for anybody, any day, any minute, any time. You know why? Because I know we're all going to be with the same Father. We belong to the same Daddy. All of us. We are one people. Our success lies within the unity that we have for each other. Guys, love is sweet, man. Love is beautiful. Hatred don't work. It's too painful. Look, I'm always telling you about Fazema Here, If you check Fazema Here, when she started a campaign for, when she was doing a campaign, remember, she started as an independent, candidate, remember? She was such a beautiful, feminine, beautiful young girl. But when you look at her now and how tough she's become, it's because of our political systems. It's sad. Everything is in a mess. But here's the thing. Prepare the way. Something is going to give soon. The pressure is mounting. Somebody's going to be booted out soon. Just prepare the way. We are on our way to Zimbabwe, remember? Tukwati kuno sangana ku Zimbabwe iko. We are there on our way and we are not retreating. Ndokwati kuya iko ku Zimbabwe. We are meeting there. The freedom we want is around the corner. Ndokwati kuno sangana iko oko ku Zimbabwe. The freedom we want is there. Tukuno sangana iko oko. love All right, guys, you must know that there's power in words. They're much aware of what's coming for them. So we are on our way to Zimbabwe. I love you so much. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. Guys, prepare either way. Prepare either way. We're on our way to freedom. It's very close. Very, very close. So prepare either way. I love you so much and sleep tight. See you tomorrow and bye for now.